Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Around the Table Sports. So, I know it's been a while since we last talked. Life has been super hectic, and I've been super busy with my internship, but have no fear, I am back, and we have got to talk about Alabama versus LSU, which happened this weekend. But before we get into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you along as we continue to grow this channel. There's lots of great content planned, and I'd just really like for y'all to be involved because this is something I really love to do. So subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way, anytime I'm uploading, you'll know. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Drop a comment down below. Let me know who your teams are and how they did this week, and we can talk about them. I'll be dropping some film reviews here very soon on some players I'm very excited about. So with all that being said, let's get into the video today, and that is LSU versus Alabama. Now, after LSU won last year and went on to have one of the greatest single seasons in college football history, there was a lot of contention as to what the Tigers were going to be coming into this season. A lot of LSU fans thought that the success would continue, but a lot of people from the outside looking in, we didn't see how it possibly could, right? Like, LSU, y'all were so unbelievably talented last year, and you lost so much of that talent to the draft that already right then and there, we knew it would be hard. And sure, I know that LSU, being in the SEC, you pride yourselves with being able to go up against the likes of Bama. And you look at the talent loss that Alabama has, and even then, like, y'all were up there with some of the more extreme teams of Alabama where that many people leave at one time. But I think a lot of LSU fans prided themselves in the thought of, if Alabama can have continued success even after sending 10-plus guys to the NFL draft, why can't we? The difference is Alabama is a program that is built around consistency, and, LSU fans, I hope to be wrong about this because I think college football is better when LSU is better. It certainly makes the SEC better. Make no mistake, as an Alabama fan, I'm not the biggest fan of LSU. But the SEC is way more interesting when LSU is good. It gives another wrinkle into the SEC East and just kind of establishes the SEC East as the best conference in football when it's at its peak. There's really not a conference that is close to the depth that the SEC East has on a good year. It really just isn't matched. But the thing is, LSU, is that the team y'all have with the coach y'all have is much more built on emotion rather than consistency. And I'll give you some examples, right? Because this win was the worst loss the Tigers have faced to the Tide since 1922. This 55-17 loss was embarrassing. I don't care how much talent you lost. This was unacceptable. Look, both teams were almost at full strength last year, but I'll put it like this. Bama was out 4 or 5 starting defenders, plus Tua had just came off ankle surgery 2 weeks before, and they still only lost to y'all by 4 or 5 points last year. Now, like I said, that's not near the losses y'all had, but they weren't playing at full strength last year and y'all barely beat them, and all year long you would think that the LSU Tigers have ran the SEC since 2000. LSU, y'all have had 84 meetings with Alabama. Y'all have won less than 30 of them. You're not even a 50% team against Alabama. You're barely a 30% team against Alabama. And so when you win and you instantly act like you've never been there before, that's when I kind of had a feeling this isn't built on consistency, this is built on emotion, because you don't have a coach like Coach O. You don't see coaches like Dabo or Nick Saban or Urban Meyer being as blatantly stupid and disrespectful as Coach O was. Personally, I don't think very much of Coach O, right? We'll wait to see what these legal things, these investigations at LSU, what they're going to yield, but I don't like Coach O very much. And, I think trash talk is very necessary in football. I think it adds an awesome wrinkle. But there's a difference between trash talking and you being the fat coach who's sitting on the sideline and then saying F the other team's players. F them, F them, F them on their field. That's just being an idiot, right? That's just being blatantly disrespectful. And then this year you're looking for every excuse you can when you get your butt whipped. It's because you're not good enough. You are not on the same level as Nick Saban, Dabo, Urban Meyer. I don't think you ever will be, because I don't think you have any humility. You don't know what it's like to have been there, and you clearly show that in every time you open your mouth. You're an emotion guy. You're a rah-rah guy. right? And I think that that's even more put into fruition when we look at LSU this year. LSU this year organized a march for the students on their team based on racial injustice and didn't include the coach. The coach got to practice and found out when he only had 5 or 6 players there because the rest of the team wasn't there. I'm not saying that the team doesn't like Coach O, right? I'm saying that the team only looks at Coach O as a football coach and they don't really look to him for anything else. Kaylavon Chason said it over the summer when Coach O was on Fox News. Kaylavon Chason came out and said, I love Coach O, but the man only knows football. He's just a football guy and anything else he says is meh. That goes to show that the players on the team even kind of think you're an emotion guy and a rah-rah guy. And there's no issue with being an emotion guy. I'm not trying to say you can't win with that. But here comes problem number 2. If you're an emotion guy and you're big off of that, then you cannot be arrogant. And that is also what Coach O is. To me, Coach O is rah-rah, he's arrogant, he's disrespectful. But that same arrogance, the reason I keep bringing that up is that same attitude is what's hindering LSU now. When they lost Dave Aranda this year and they hired Bo Pelini, anybody with any football knowledge anywhere looked at that and said, terrible hire, don't know what you were thinking. Coach O's hubris, his arrogance, his lack of thought blocked that. And I'm not saying I don't think Coach O is an intelligent person. I don't mean to say that. When I say I don't think Coach O does some smart things, I think it's because his arrogance gets in his way. I think his head is about 18 sizes bigger than it actually is. He actually tried to convince everybody and God himself that Dave Aranda was a worse defensive coordinator than Bo Pelini. Just saying that exudes arrogance to me. Look, there are a lot of finger pointing to go at for this LSU loss, and Bo Pelini is absolutely a part of that. But Ed Orgeron also deserves a good portion of the blame because of his arrogance, because of the fact of his disrespectfulness, his arrogance that he thought that it was just going to continue like that. I think that we've seen so many players opt out at LSU for a reason, right? Like, I understand COVID is happening, but there's all these other players at all these other schools not opting out for COVID. And guess what? A lot of those other schools like Ole Miss, Alabama, when their players organized a march, they included their head coaches because they respected them in that manner. LSU did not. So here's my end take. Ed Orgeron isn't completely to blame. I'm not saying he should be fired. But this isn't a good look. You have a coach that is under investigation right now for sexual assault allegations. Whether he did or didn't have anything to do with them, we'll find out. It's way too early to cast any judgment on that right now. The facts aren't out yet, so we're not even going to consider that, right? The only reason I bring it up is because it's a real fact. It is something that's happening. It doesn't look good, but that in and of itself isn't a big deal. Because the facts haven't come out yet, we will reserve judgment for that when the facts come out. But then you're just arrogant and disrespectful, and you think that nobody on your staff meant anything to that championship except you, and that you'll be able to replace them with just anybody. So you hire Bo Pelini. Nobody thought that would work. You hire Scott Linehan, and all this offseason LSU fans were telling me Joe Brady meant nothing. You lose a guy in Joe Brady that's considered a genius in the offensive scheme, and then you hire a guy who was let go of the Dallas Cowboys because he had the most basic offensive scheme in the NFL that was predictable. That's the sort of arrogance that I'm talking about with Coach O. If you're not an X's and O guy, which I don't think Coach O is bad with X's and O's, I just don't think he is. Look at his tenure in the SEC before he got to LSU. I don't think he had a win. He was a horrible head coach before LSU. He got great recruits from Les Miles. He's a good recruiter, but he's never been a great head coach at any of his other tenures. And to me, Coach O's hubris is getting in the way of him doing that. His arrogance is literally telling him, I'm the only thing that matters. I can take Bo Pelini and Scott Linehan out here, and Dave Aranda and Joe Brady meant nothing. And clearly, they meant a lion's share, maybe more than he did. That's it for this video. If you'd like to keep in touch, man, drop a comment down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about this win, because Alabama doesn't seem to stop. But LSU, I don't think that there's any permanent problems. I know y'all will be back. My only fear is how y'all respond from this game, because I don't want people thinking that Coach O is absolved from this. And Coach O doesn't need to be fired because of this. Coach O has had good success. I know I'm being hard on Coach O, But that's the standard you held yourself last year when you said we will beat them in every facet. You're not beating them in recruiting. They just kicked your ass in football, and they made you look pretty dumb the whole time. So the standard that I'm holding you to is the standard you set. So come answer that standard. That's it. See ya.